No tax on tips. Well, hey everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to the RideShare Guy. And today we're talking about the no tax on tips, which has been something that has been going around since Trump had began running for office and one of his standing points of making. And this is something that they're trying to accomplish. They're actually putting a bill together right now that is going to put no tax on tips. But there's a huge catch when it comes to food delivery drivers and when it comes to Uber and Lyft drivers. Now, we all know that tips are an occurrence on rideshare. Actually, it's only about 10 to 20% on average. So if you're making over 10 to 20%, congratulations, and also comment below because we love to know. We've seen people who can actually get close to 40, 50%, and they're a real hoot, apparently, when it comes to trying to get tips. But when it comes to no tax on tips, unfortunately, the way it is currently worded, it will not include rideshare driving like Uber and Lyft, and it will not include food delivery driving like DoorDash, Uber Eats, and etc. Why is this? Well, there's a big stipulation in the bill right now that it says employees. Now, independent contractors are not employees. Uber and Lyft drivers are not employees. Uber Eats and DoorDash drivers are not employees. Everybody is considered an independent contractor. So that means they would not qualify for the no tax on tips policy that could be potentially a law if it's passed by the House and the Senate and then signed by Trump. But one of the good news is that Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, and a couple of these companies are actually working hard to try to get no tax on tips, which is actually going to benefit drivers more than the companies itself. Now, they can use that as a PR stunt and things like that, which they probably are, but putting pressure on the government to make those changes to include gig workers is going to be huge because there's millions of gig workers just in the US alone that this would affect and this would change, especially food delivery drivers, because there are so much more tips on food delivery than there is on rideshare. So this could have huge implications when it comes down to it. So the biggest thing that you could do watching this video, if you're a gig worker and you want to make sure that you're covered under the no tax on tips policy that they're trying to push forward, make sure you get hold of your local representative and tell them, look, I'm a gig worker and no tax on tips would go huge when it comes to being able to provide for myself, my family, whatever it might be. And that is how real change could happen, where drivers like us can actually get no tax on tips included, being independent contractors. So again, if you are looking to become a gig worker that can have no tax on tips, you got to reach out to your local representatives. You got to reach out to the people who are authoring this bill and tell them, put a no tax on tips for independent workers like gig workers. And also make sure you stay tuned to the channel, subscribe if you're not already, because if there's any updates where it includes gig workers, and if this bill passes, maybe preliminary at first, and then they can try and adjust it for gig workers, or there's a push for gig worker, we will keep you updated on all new updates to this, because this could be a huge impact for your pocket. And hopefully you won't have to pay bills or pay taxes on those tips. But I want to know, what do you think? Comment below and let us know. And, it could be an end of a dry spell for workers when it comes to rideshare, because there's more requests and more surge that's happening in several areas. So is this the turning of the tides? Well, check out this video right here and you could see if it is. We'll see you in the next one.